It's a dangerous combination. Gay teenage runaways using crystal meth, and yet their numbers are growing. So why would they want to try such a highly addictive drug? Well, as Ana Cuevas tells us, when you're homeless and on the street, meth has a practical effect.
3 times a week, Ismael Morales drives the streets of Hollywood, specifically Santa Monica Boulevard.
It's lined with clubs, with nightclubs, with bars, and it's a street that's known for its gayness, its safety there. So I think they leave Hollywood and Sunset to straight people, and they kind of take Santa Monica as their own.
Morales is a health counselor for the Los Angeles Gay and Lesbian Center. He's out looking for homosexual youth, those under the age of 24, living on the streets.
Where y'all from?
We're from the Gay and Lesbian Center.
Oh, y'all doing outreach?
Drugs are a problem among this population.
We try to follow up on our clients that we see during the day and make sure that, one, they're being okay, they're being taken care of and where they hang out, and also kind of follow the trends and see where they're using, where they're hanging out.
The popular drug among gay youth these days is crystal meth. Meth, a white crystalline substance, can easily be made using common household ingredients such as ammonia and battery acid. It can be cooked in home labs like this one, busted during a raid in the Inland Empire. Morales says he's seen street kids as young as 15 hooked on this highly addictive drug.
We feel that a lot of the youth are using it to escape what it is that their situation is. So either running away from home or getting kicked out from home or having to realize that the street is their life.
That's what happened to 22-year-old Michael from Sacramento. His mother kicked him out of the house a year ago. His best friend invited him to move to LA. Michael didn't know it would mean living on the streets.
And I'm like, well, you didn't tell me you were homeless. I thought you had a place to stay. So that's how I became homeless. I had money in my pocket, and I was using it for a hotel room, but one day my money was going to run out anyway, so.
What was it like that first night that you had to sleep on the streets?
It was terrifying. I was scared. I've never had to sleep on the streets before. I really didn't sleep that night. I actually stayed up the whole night, scared, not knowing what was going to happen to me out there.
He says it took less than a week before crystal meth was offered to him for free. He turned it down the first time.
The second time I was like, you know what, I'm living on the streets. There's nothing better to do. Let me just try it. So I ended up trying it with them too, and I ended up getting hooked on it, and I started like going crazy, like I wanted it all the time.
What was the sensation? How did the drug make you feel?
Awake, ready to move, paranoid, scared that people were out to get me, the police officer. Every time I seen a police officer, I was like, you could tell I was backed out of my mind. I was moving, I was tripping.
So the first time you got it for free. The next times then you had to pay for it. How much were you paying for it?
Actually, my friend was originally paying for it, so I was really smoking off him for free, but he was prostituting for his money to get it.
Michael is one of an estimated 6,000 gay youth living on the streets of LA. Not only does meth destroy the person's appearance, among other things, there is an added consequence as well. Gay youth on meth are much more likely to engage in risky sex that can lead to AIDS.
It hits the pleasure principles of the brain, creates euphoria.
Mike Rizzo specializes in crystal meth. He says most gay users see it as a party drug. Meth lowers their inhibitions while stimulating their sex drive. That combination increases their chances of catching a sexually transmitted disease. Already, more than 40% of new HIV cases at the Gay and Lesbian Center involve meth users. But Rizzo says these street kids aren't using the drug to have a good time.
A lot of these youth are homeless, and they're using the drug to stay awake at night for safety, as well as staving off pangs of hunger, and it's sort of not a recreational drug for them. It really is about survival.
Rizzo recently joined the Gay and Lesbian Center to launch their new meth recovery program focused on kids.
The counselors there were reporting an increased use of meth, and then as we further did the research, again with our sexual health department, we saw that those numbers were really increasing.
Of the young people tested for HIV in 2006, the number who reported they used meth doubled compared to the year before.
they're young and they feel invincible, you know, and they don't think they can become addicted. They don't think that they can, that will affect their lives long term. You know, I'm sure that they believe at some point they're going to get back on track, but unfortunately with this drug, they may not make it back on track.
But this problem of younger and younger people using crystal meth isn't just limited to the streets of Hollywood. According to figures from Los Angeles County, in 2000, of the young people coming in for drug treatment, 1 out of 10 were doing so because of crystal meth. Jumped to 2005, and that figure had dramatically increased to 1 out of 3. Why do you think it is the drug of choice? Why do you think it's so popular?
When you smoke it, you get the intention that you're full and you haven't eaten, and it's crazy because when I was doing it, I was like, I wasn't eating for 4 days. I was drinking water and juice, but some days I wouldn't eat for like 4 days straight.
If you stay awake all night, you can't say that you slept on the streets. You can say you've been on the boulevard, you've been walking around. So I think that's why a lot of the youth use crystal meth, is one, to get away from the emotional feeling of living on the street and why they're living on the street, and also to be able to survive on the street.
When we met Michael, he'd been clean for 2 weeks and attending regular drug therapy sessions. He had a part-time job and had found a place to live.
How's the crystal meth going?
It's good now. Like, I won't even touch it. Like, these last few days, I've been so tired. Everybody's like, oh, you're back on it. No, I wasn't back on it. I've just been stressed.
However, a few days after our interview, Morales told us Michael had been evicted and was using again.
Earlier on, we mentioned that I used to get really sentimental and hurt when that used to happen, but now it's frustrating in the sense that you just wish that they could get some sense knocked into them after so many experiences of failure, but they don't.
The LA Gay and Lesbian Center is one of the few places providing services to homeless gay youth. They hope their new recovery program will help kids before it's too late.
Adolescents are particularly difficult to treat because the drug is still working for them. It's really hard for them to let go of it because they're still getting high. It's still helping them deal with their stressors.
In the meantime, you can find Morales back in his van, scouting the streets at night, fighting meth, one kid at a time.
I know I saw Michael and I know I saw the girl that he was with.
I'm Ana Cuevas for Life and Times.
So what do you think of teenagers using meth? You can post your comment on our blog. Just go to kcet.org and click on the Life and Times blog.